Hello everyone, how are you? Fine, thank you. Today, I've got some more slop from the dump. Yeah, they just can't stop blursing me with this stuff, can they? This is a Dell OptiPlex 780 mini tower, or micro tower, whatever you want to call it. The 780 MT is what Dell officially calls it. It has a Core 2 Duo, only the best and most usable processor in the world. It still has the classic silver Dell logo. Power button. It's a little dirty. This cover is kind of pushed in. It might have broken off. And we have a DVD-ROM drive on top and a DVD multi-recorder on the bottom. I don't think this bottom drive was stock, but it might have been. And here's the service tag. You can tell this is a bit of an older one because it doesn't list a manufacturer date on this part of the sticker. And also the text is kind of big. It's got a license for Windows Vista Business, surprisingly. Because by the time the 780 released, you would think that this was shipped with Windows 7, but no, this one shipped with Vista. I mean, this is an early model of 780. We have a power supply here. It actually has the test button. I don't remember my 755 having that. That might have been something that they just added to like the 780, maybe the 760, which I never had. We have line out, line in microphone combo jack, 6 USB 2.0 ports, gigabit Ethernet, a serial port, VGA, parallel, eSATA. Ugh. Again, I'm gonna say it. Why does everyone like eSATA so much? My dad had nothing but problems with it at work, and he used these Dell computers primarily. And under this blocked port, this would be a display port, which was somewhat new for 09 when this came out. Most of these were manufactured in 2010, even some into 2011, but this one was manufactured in November of 09. And we have a basic graphics card here, but it's one of those stupid ones with the DMS59 connector. It's a Radeon HD 3450. It's not even anything good, but it is a basic GPU. It is better than the GMA 4500 for what it's worth. Although the GMA 4500 actually isn't too terrible when it comes to GMAs. I had the 3100, and every time someone hates on Intel UHD 620 irrationally, like what's found in the ThinkPad T480 and T15 Gen 1, although it was just branded as UHD graphics by that point, tell them to live with GMA 3100 for a week. They are not going to survive that. And I had to deal with GMA 3100 every day from 2012 to 2014. Okay, on this bottom sticker we can see some information. We want to get a look at this over here, the manufacture date. 11/09/09. That would be the 9th of November 2009. So this must be a really early 780, because I think the 780 released in December of 09. It was like at the very tail end of the year. I'd have to check the serial number on Dell's website and see when this was shipped or when the warranty expired. The warranty should have expired in late 2012 or early 2013, given that these OptiPlexes typically ship with a 3-year warranty. It's kind of dirty inside here as well. I'm going to have to clean this down. But this uses a BTX motherboard just like the Dimension 5100. Although the PCIe slots are in a bit of a different order. We have the main X16 on top, then 2 classic PCIs, and then the X1 at the bottom. My camera went out of focus. And you can also see something pretty cringe. Yeah, this got rid of the floppy controller, but it still has the pin out for one. Lame. Though, this also lacks PS2, but these could have come with a PS2 card, like, installed down here, and it wouldn't have taken up the PCIe slots, technically. It would have plugged into this header over here. This is where the PS2 would have gone, although those cards surprisingly don't seem to be very common, and when I try to look up a picture of one on Google, I just don't get the results for the one that I remember. Anyway, let's take out this graphics card. We're going to have to do so anyway, because I don't have any DMS59 adapters. Okay, here's the 3450. It's looking pretty dirty. Although this one surprisingly has a green PCB. I have one of these in a couple 2400 Pros that I'm pretty sure came out of Dell computers, but those have red PCBs, so I don't know where those came from. If this one has a green PCB. There's the serial number. 09D. This one had to have been a replacement. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me too much because the power supply here is also a replacement unit manufactured on the 5th of February 2010. It's a typical 305 watt unit, I'm pretty sure. L255EM. Okay, I don't know if it's actually 305 watts. I'm having kind of a hard time looking for the max wattage. But apparently this one is 80 plus rated, unlike the one on the 755. It's 80 plus silver. You don't see that anymore. 220 watts on some of those rails. D326T. Okay, so this might actually have a lower capacity power supply than the 755 mini tower. You can see the date code is R1005, although it's easier just to look at this date code here, 025, 2010, February 5th. We still have a hard drive here. I'm not going to pull those cables out because I've pulled out this drive before. It is a Hitachi Desk Star from March of 09, 932. Okay, so that's from the 2nd of March 2009. I wonder if this is original or if this was pulled out of a 760. It's 250 gigabytes, SATA 300. About as typical as it gets. And we have RAM in here. That's actually worth something these days, they said. Oh, this has 6 gigabytes of RAM in it. A 4 gig stick over here, a PC3 10600U, and a 2 gig stick of PC3 10600U. Neither of these are original. This one's from the 36th week of 2010, so this might have been a warranty replacement, or it might have been taken out of another computer. And this one's from the 13th week of 2012. This one is definitely not original. It was probably taken out of a 790. But this was the first OptiPlex to use DDR3. Yeah, even the RAM slots are pretty dirty. I'm going to have to start wiping this down. The power supply still has a floppy connector, even though this system can't even take a floppy since they got rid of the floppy controller on this one. Okay, I'm still in the process of cleaning this down. But here's the optical drive bezel. It doesn't encompass quite as much as the one on the Dimension 5100. And here's the cover for the floppy drive area, although the 780 can't take a floppy drive. This is probably where a media card reader would have gone on one of these. That's probably apparent by this port here. I think this is a USB header. Also, I don't know how I forgot to mention this, but I actually did have a 780 at one point, about 10 years ago. It was my 755, but I had hastily converted it into a 780. Like, I had to make more modifications, or my dad did rather. I was 13 and wasn't comfortable with handling a Dremel. So this area over here got Dremeled so we could fit my GTX 750 that I got back in 2014. But also we had to Dremel out a lot of the I.O. shield because they changed the I.O. layout from the 755 to the 780. Well, more like the 755 to the 760, because the 760 uses the same layout as the 780. Also, did I wipe this over here? Okay, it seems like I didn't wipe the power supply area yet. Well, at least not on the outside. On the inside I did, because this was pretty dirty. But yeah, I want to remove these optical drives, which I've unplugged so we can see what they are. Okay, here are the disk drives. Top on the left, bottom on the right. This one over here is a DVD-ROM drive, TSH353, manufactured in September of 2009. Probably the original. Manufactured on the 5th of September 2009, just like the motherboard over here. There we go, now I think you can see that code. This one was also manufactured by Toshiba and Samsung. I hear Samsung DVD drives are not very good, so I wouldn't be surprised if this one doesn't work. Although, unlike the 5100, this uses a SATA optical drive, and this computer only has SATA, so I should at least have some replacements. I mean, I could use one of my SATA drives for the 5100, but that only has one SATA port remaining, because it was very much designed with IDE optical drives in mind. And here's the multi-recorder. It was also manufactured in September 2009. 99N, that would be the 23rd, is a TSH653, also manufactured by Toshiba and Samsung. I hope both these drives work. Okay, I'm almost done cleaning this system, but it looks like the side panel was manufactured on the 13th of August 09. And this had management engine disabled. It's got the number 3 and Dell label PN of TY132. Maybe that's just a part number for the side panel. Okay, it still looks kind of dirty, but it feels better than last time. Also, something to note is that with this section of the front panel over here on these BTX OptiPlexes, at some point this was like glossy plastic where you could see numbers for like the diagnostic LEDs. But at some point, I think with the 745 or 755, this went from glossy plastic to just matte plastic, which does definitely hold up better. Because glossy plastic, you know, attracts fingerprints. I'm going to get this plugged in, but since this doesn't have PS2, I can't use the KB8923 over here and the PS2 mouse, so I'm going to have to get some USB peripherals out. Oops, I forgot to put Percy in, or Green Thomas, Oliver, whatever we want to call this X300. This X300 that looks like a tank engine. Yeah, we're just going to plug straight into the integrated graphics. I took out the 3450 already. I mean, I would use the 3450 if I had a DMS59 adapter, but I don't. I hate DMS59. I can't use all my 2400 Pros because of that. Okay, no magic smoke. Oh. Oh, that's no good. You can see where the diagnostic LEDs would have been. Also, as for keyboard and mouse, I was just going to use this K400 Plus because I actually knew where it was along with my adapter. Yes, I have this on an extension cable because I've already worn out this dongle, so this plastic piece will just come off. This thing's only a year old. Yeah, the Logitech K400, everyone I know hates this thing, but they buy it anyway because it's, like, the only viable, like, keyboard and trackpad combo. We had to wait for a frickin' Framework to come out with a decent competitor. Kind of convenient, but it also sucks. And I'm gonna be honest, wireless peripherals are also kind of inconvenient in the way that you're gonna misplace the adapter and the peripheral itself all the time. So, like, might as well use wired peripherals at times. Oh, let's see if this can at least turn on. Doesn't seem like it. This one was probably thrown out for a reason, but let me get out my Thermaltake 850 watt test power supply. Okay, here's my test power supply. Is a Thermaltake TR2 RX 850 AP from 2008. It's part of the Black Widow series. Pretty early modular power supply. I know that it works. I've used it before for testing, so let's turn this on. Okay. Wait. If it's doing the same thing even with this power supply, then this must be a bad motherboard then. And yeah, I have this plugged in. Also, one optical drive plugged in, so I could just use a single SATA lead. Yeah, this one probably has a bad board. Well, it's giving me postcodes 1 and 3. Could have to see what that code is, because I don't have these codes memorized on the top of my head. It might be a bad RAM config. Okay, I took out the 4 gig stick. These were in slots 1 and 4, so being the ones at the bottom and the top respectively, which I don't think is the proper RAM config. But it seems like we're still getting the blinking light. And it looks like postcode 1 and 3 is either a memory error, a power supply failure, or a system board failure. I'm thinking it's the system board failure, because I think I've already attempted to rule out the RAM, have pretty much ruled out the power supply, and the only thing that I think could be the problem at this point is the system board. And also, the CPU fan isn't spinning up at all. Gonna try just the 4 gig stick now. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna plug in the old power supply, but just the power, and I'm gonna use the test button on the back. Okay, let's just plug this in like so. Okay, I don't hear a green light. Oh. Okay, the green light just comes on when I hold down the test button. It seems to spin up just fine, so I don't get what the whole big deal is. Okay, I reseated the RAM more firmly and I plugged the original power supply back in. Let's see how far we can go. Yeah, no, I think this one's just shot. Like, there's no saving this one. At least without a replacement board. I guess I'll just use this for scrap. I'll take the RAM out of it, that being 6 gigs of DDR3. Take both disk drives out. Very good, because I need some more replacements. And honestly, it might just be better for me to get some SATA to IDE bridges so I could use these for my IDE rare retro gamings. Take out the hard drive, because that might still be good. I took out the 3450, even though that's useless to me. I mean, it might work, and if I get some DMS59 adapters, I might be able to finally, like, pawn off this and my 2400 Pros that I have way too many of, because I don't have DMS59 adapter, so I can't use them. The power supply might still be good, but these cables are just so short that I don't think there's really anything that you could do with one of these power supplies except throw it into another OptiPlex. The CPU I'm also going to take out, even though that's probably worth like, what, $5? Assuming it's an E8400. Though I think the E8400 has gone up in price a little bit over the years. Back in 2018, 2019, you used to be able to get them for $5 easily, but now you're paying like $8, I think, because 775 is Rare Retro Gaming now. It is no longer the price to performance king that it once used to be. You know, that's the thing with recycling rescues. They're not always cracked up to what they're made out to be. Because oftentimes you're just going to get junk and stuff that doesn't work and was thrown out for a reason. I mean, yeah, I would rather recycle it to somewhere that won't dump it into the South China Sea, but that's less places than you'd think, probably. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm just going to take it to my recycler, who will actually, like, you know, responsibly recycle this. And I'm just going to use the parts that I can get out of this for, like, well, recycle these parts myself, like the optical drives, CPU, RAM, and, like, reuse them in other computers that I might need to sell. Like if I need a CPU upgrade, like if this has an E8400, then I just take this one out of here and put it into that other system. Or if I need replacement optical drives, because these optical drives fail all the time, well, bam, 2 extras. This power supply will probably have to get recycled with the rest of the machine. Don't know if this hard drive works, but if it does, then I'll reuse it in a selling machine. It is SATA, doesn't have Molex power, but it's still a SATA drive. It probably works. That's what I'm going to assume, at least. Oh yeah, SATA cables. I need more of these as well, especially ones that, you know, aren't SATA 600 and don't have a latch on them and are flat on each side. Yeah, I need a couple more of these for, like, junk systems, or not really junk systems, but older systems, and also wherever I need, like, a flat tip. Just as I was scrapping the 780 and took the CPU out of it, check this out. 3.33 gigahertz, 6 megabytes of cache. That is a Core 2 Duo E8600 from the 28th week of 2009. For those of you who don't know, the E8600 is the fastest Core 2 Duo on socket 775, and also the fastest CPU for socket 775 in terms of single-thread performance. Technically, the Core 2 Duo E8700 and also some Xeons modded from 771 to fit on 775 would be faster, but those are extremely rare in the case of E8700, and also one of the few CPUs that Intel actively tried denying the existence of. And also, I don't count the 771 Xeons because you have to modify them and modify the BIOS to get them working on 775. So for all intents and purposes, the E8600 is the fastest CPU for 775 in terms of gaming and single-core performance. These go for quite a bit more money than the E8400 and even the E8500, so this is definitely worth hanging on to. Unfortunately, I don't have any 775 boards available to me to test this in, but I'm definitely going to keep this around. Maybe overclock it to 5 gigahertz and see how far I can get with that. Because this is like best case scenario for a Core 2 Duo. This alone was definitely worth saving the 784, even if the board is shot and not worth buying a replacement for, but hey, these are probably worth more than the whole computer itself. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video, even if this find was a total and utter disappointment. If you want to talk about Rare Retro Gaming slop like this, then you're welcome to join the Discord server in the link down in the description. If you want, like, help fund projects or whatever, but not buy a replacement motherboard for this, because I'm probably going to have recycled it. By the time anyone really sees this video, then my Ko-fi will be in the description down below. And, as always, I will see y'all in the next video. Peace out.